Okay, so Apple, speaking of value growth S companies, Apple is negatively growing. I think negative 8% year over year, PE of 30. Okay, so you're paying 30 times forward earnings for a company that's in negative growth. The only thing that grew this year was what was it? Of services. Services grew by 8%. Everything else fell a little bit from, even if it's 1 or 2% since last year, they fell. What are your thoughts on Apple? 81.8 billion in revenue, still amazing company. Services growing. New iPhone's going to come out in September, selling probably 85 million units. Any thoughts on if Apple is a buy right now?
Should have done research on AI, so you could have integrated into Siri, who fucking sucks, by the way. And now Google's actually going to be integrating all their AI stuff into Google Home. I'm seriously asking people, wait a second, what's going on with Apple? Why aren't they riding some of this AI hype wave and upgrading Siri? Like, I don't know if you guys have experience with Siri, but she's fucking terrible.
No, Siri's the worst. It's useless.
The reason is a lot of it has to do with with privacy. To be honest, they try to focus on a customer's privacy over the user experience. To be honest, this is one of the reasons
they're trying to do it on device and not on some massive server, supposedly.
Because of that, yeah, because of that.
I mean, but that's a problem because look, at the end of the day, they're competing against others who are not doing it. So eventually. But hold on. Eventually, if AI is important and we have like a personal assistant, let's say, and only Android has that, that's bad. That's bad that Android would control that or Google.
Apple's working on their own LLMs. That report came out last week.
Yeah,
they are. Well, I'm saying they are far behind. They are like 10 years behind Google.
The thing is, though, the way that that's currently being solved right now, yes, there is a certain level of invasion of privacy where like you're taking recorded speech or you're taking input from certain customer data and you're flying it around. People wouldn't necessarily be happy with that. There is a way for the Apple to solve it and say keep it on device, but it's probably going to take longer to develop than the easy way, which is right now to send that information, like Amazon Alexa. Alexa was one of the first that just did that really well, understanding natural language. But man, you had a microphone in your house, man. You guys gotta be careful with that shit.
Quick question. Can you put up Blake Finance's?
Oh yeah, only 3 iPhones right around me.
So,
so
Blake says they don't.
By the way, real quick, Tupperware is up 85% after hours. That company we were talking about yesterday. All right.
Oh jeez, I should have invested.
Damn.
They don't have to update Siri because they don't need to, and people will still buy them. Okay, so here's the thing. When a company says, oh, you know what? We're comfortable with what we have. We don't need to innovate anymore. People will still buy our shit. Go ahead. See how long that works. I guarantee you, maybe you're right this year. Maybe you're right next year. But 5 years from now, completely backward thinking. Because when someone comes up with a personal assistant that's really good, that's doing all the stuff that they need to, that could be something that ends up switching. The cost of not doing something is way more than actually trying new stuff out and doing more.
Yeah,
right now, Apple doesn't.
Wait, but hold on. Yeah. But Apple. That's never been Apple's thing. Apple's never the first mover in any of that. They're almost like they're almost the Burger King of the industry. Burger King waits for a McDonald's to open, and then they open a store across the street. Why? Because McDonald's already did the research that that's where the traffic's going to be. So they save all of the research involved, and they just open a store across the street. And then Wendy's does the same. Apple does the same thing. They aren't necessarily the first to market with everything, but when they do enter, they take all of the information and the data gathered from the user experiences of the people that were the first to market, and then they find a way of improving it, putting the Apple spin on it, and charging a premium for it.
No, I disagree. I think Apple has always been the thought leader when it comes to certain personal electronics. Like, okay, I never thought anyone would use Bluetooth earphones. Like, that was not even a thing.
It was Apple came out with it. Adaptergate,
yeah. Right. The adapter thing, that was another thing. Apple has always been on the forefront of trying new things, but for some reason they haven't really gone the AI and LLM route. Maybe they know something we don't, but it's really curious why they haven't gone that route, because that is one of the entryways into a person's home right now. Like, I have so many Alexa devices. God damn it, I said her name. I have so many devices around like my home that now I'm in the Amazon ecosystem. From now, I can't even leave if I want to without changing up all my devices. So you know what Amazon is going to get? They're going to get my $99 a year in Prime subscriptions no matter what I do. Why? Because everything is integrated via them. So
Chris,
that's
how
the
would you
thing.
answer Rango's comment?
Bring up Rango, or even just throw him in the StreamYard. I mean, if he can pop on, he's one of the guys.
We got to be out in 25 minutes. We definitely
used to work there.
We're gonna get him soon.
No, but
we do have to be out.
But Chris, how would you respond to this? Right, LLMs, they're not like Apple's LLMs will be perfect. Basically, is Rango's point, and that's why Apple.
Well, I mean, I don't know that. Right?
Like, what if they are? Would you forgive them for?
It's like the Apple car. It's perfect.
No, not about that. What he's saying is like Apple never releases a half-baked product, and they don't release something that's on par with what competitors are doing. They
I know. So but
the
Chris's argument is they will lose market share if they continue to do that. That's Chris's point, because people will just be done with it. They'll be tired.
Well, the problem is the longer you wait for something, it's the same thing with the EV play. Look, Tesla is obviously innovating at a breakneck speed. And GM and Ford have said, we can wait. We don't need to do this right away. And look what happened. I mean, it's because they let Tesla escape, right? So if they let Google escape, and Google does make a great AI, so I don't mind switching phones. I can switch the whole family if I have to, if there's a reason to do it.
I think
it will suck to change my photos, of course, but if there's a good reason, I will do it.
But it's more than that. It's more than just changing your photos. And anyone that I've known that's tried to switch the ecosystem, there's a ripple effect there. It becomes your email. It becomes a lot of.
I don't use their email. I don't use Apple Mail. So.
Well, I'm saying for a lot of people, creative professionals, they do.
I use Gmail.
You have your iCloud. You have other things and services that keep you in the moat, and you also have to look at people that have, say, contracts, AT&T Next, where you're already upgrading a phone every. There's a million ways where you're already.
There's a lot, but I'm saying the only thing that holds me back, at least personally, is the photos, because it's annoying to switch all those photos that I have been collecting for the last.
Just throw them on OnlyFans and start making money on them, dude. What are you waiting for?
So
would you buy Apple at $3 trillion for safety and for zero growth?
I had Apple. I recently sold it for Enphase. I recently got rid of it.
So you don't like Apple stock? You don't want Apple stock?
No, I wouldn't mind holding. It was in my dividend portfolio, by the way. I had Apple stock up until like only a month ago, and basically got rid of it because Enphase was tanking. I still have Microsoft, but I think Microsoft is a better play right now. I think I like OpenAI and everything they're doing there. So eventually, though, I would sell Microsoft as well for Enphase. So at the end of the day, it's all going into like one or two stocks.
One of the companies
my big tech horses, because I think that's what it is. Everyone has to have their own big tech horses at this point, right? So my big tech horses are Amazon and Google. I still think both of those are very undervalued, right? So it's literally, I think, what is it? The Magnificent Seven. So it's like 7 horses, and then you have to pick which horses you think are going to win. Because we all know they're all going to run the race. The question is, who's going to give you the better return? You have NVIDIA
Okay.
No, I was going to say the 7 horses right now are the most valuable. Number 1 is Apple, right? Number 2 is Microsoft at 2.7 billion. Number 3 is, I think, Google with, I think, 1.72 billion in market cap. Trillion. Number 4 is Amazon. Trillion. Yeah. Number 4 is Amazon at 1. I don't even know because of today 1.5 billion. Facebook
trillion, my guy. We're not speaking in
trillion.
And Facebook is not at $1 trillion yet. It's gonna be soon.
So Meta is there now, just under $1 trillion, I think, at this point. And then you have Nvidia. Is Nvidia $1 trillion now?
I think it fell today below. It's like 900 billion.
It's close.
Yeah. So it's there. And then who's the last one? Tesla. There you go. So those are the Magnificent Seven, and everyone's got to bet on the fucking horses, each one. And the growth story on each one is forever changing. So if you look at Apple right now, their growth story is kind of not there. So now they're living off of their revenues that they're doing a shit ton of share buybacks with. But my 2 horses that I'm betting on is Google and Amazon, especially Google, because Google is buying more fucking shares, more money total back than Microsoft is. Microsoft is doing share buybacks, I think like 7 or 8 billion a quarter. Google is buying almost like 16 to 20 billion a fucking quarter back in shares.
It's almost better than the dividend.
Right, no, but the whole year was what? I thought they allocated 50 billion or so.
Something like
70
billion. Yes, I actually agree with you very much. So those big bets are in what you just said. Google, Amazon, Tesla, Enphase. Absolutely. We can talk about some crypto, but those are the main bets. And Meta.
Well, speaking of crypto, and to take the conversation back, so I think what we're seeing is these Magnificent Seven. We're watching them go from, say, growth value plays to actual storers of value. There becomes a market cap where it's so high that it becomes very difficult to move And if they're getting into a pattern where they're making a bunch of money, buying back their shares and offering a dividend, consistently splitting to keep the share price down, where you can play options a year or two out, it becomes really hard for these companies to, I'm not going to say lose money, but to lose valuation or to drop significantly in their valuation.